Welcome to the show, Eléonore.
Thanks, Joanna. It's such a pleasure to be here and to share my work with you and with your audience.
Thank you. So talk to us a little bit about the masculine and the feminine and how this pertains to our energies, how we can maybe take a quick self-test to see if we're leaning in one way or the other way.
Let's begin with that, because if I start explaining more what is what, then you might be influenced for a little test. So to help you assess really what side you lean most against, I'm going to say a series of words, and then I'm going to say another series of words. And you're going to assess for yourself, what energy are you most acting from? What are you most in? What do you do most of the time? So energy 1, let's call it like that, is about reflecting, contemplating, receiving, surrendering, following your intuition, being in flow, trusting, being, doing things in a cyclical manner, trusting your body more than your head, but also knowing your self-worth and your power. The other set of words is more about doing, giving, providing, protecting, structuring, organizing, taking action. So as you're sensing, one is a more outward energy, the other one is a more inward energy. For you, Joanna, where do you spend most of your time if you had to assess 100% 0, 80% 20, 60% 40?
I would say it's probably a good 70-30. 70, the type 2 energy on the masculine, and the 30% in the feminine of receiving, surrendering. And those words remind me of my yoga mat and just yoga and how this need to give in to the pose and into the pain and all these things that we go through as women, childbirth and like the unknown of childbirth. No one really prepares you for it, but then you go through it and you come out as a victorious champ on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it is that we live in a world that is very much in that masculine energy. So we need to be careful when we use the word masculine, because we automatically think about men. It's not so much men. It's more these masculine qualities. So we can call them yang. So we dissociate it from men. Whereas feminine is more yin. That's where the word yin yoga actually comes from. So that energy that is yang is actually warm. It's very outward. It's connected to the sun. It's connected to the day. They also teach you that in traditional Chinese medicine. Whereas yin, it's those feminine qualities. It's connected to the night. It's connected to the moon, and it is a cold energy. And when we spend so much time in that warm energy, we burn out. Our language even knows about it, that when we do too much, it becomes too much for the body. Another way of looking at it is that the masculine is the sympathetic nervous system, whereas the feminine is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the yang, the doing, it's creating stress for the body. Whereas the being, the receiving, it's regenerating and healing the body. We live in a world that praises the yang, that praises mind over matter, the body. Thinking over feeling, facts over intuition, bingo over resting. And so when you live in an environment that praises the hustle and where we almost wear the burnout as a badge of honor, because I've worked hard and I just gave it my all, it becomes a problem for us women because we are more yin-based beings. So that means that we override our intuition. We override our body's need. We override our cyclical nature. And we are always in that parasympathetic response instead of trusting that even when we slow down, even when we surrender, when we follow our intuition, we are actually more in alignment with our true essence. Because something that I haven't said so far is that the feminine is magnetic. When you lead with the yin energy, you magnetize all that you need. The truth is that there's not one that's better than the other. It's not about, oh, let's stop being go, 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 and let's just slow down and be. Well, that's also not going to work, especially if you have a business and you want to create something big out there. But it's about learning how to dance from one to the other and creating that dance and that union within. It begins by fully reclaiming and mastering the feminine, the yin. Why? Because everything in life comes from the feminine. Everything in life begins with the feminine. Think about it. Every human was born from the dark womb of a mother. Every rose comes from the dark soil of the earth. Every day begins at midnight, when it's the night, when it's dark, when it's the feminine. Nature teaches us and life teaches us that everything begins with the feminine. She's the foundation. In biology, actually, they have also seen that every child starts, every baby, every fetus starts as a girl. If you are a man, it comes afterward. So we need to honor and fully reclaim the feminine within us, especially as women, because that's who we are. It's our foundation. It's our energy. It's what we're made of. And the feminine is connected to the vision as well. What do you want to create? What's most aligned for you? What are your dreams and desires? When you have space and when you slow down, suddenly you have all these ideas, right? Because your soul speaks to you through your feminine energy. The feminine is really the portal between the spiritual realm and the material realm. It's the part of you that's connected to soul, to intuition, to the unseen realm. And so when you lead with the feminine, meaning you begin your day by nurturing yourself, by taking care of yourself, by slowing down, taking time to put cream on your face, taking time to have a delicious cacao, to reflect on how you're feeling, to reflect on your vision, then your soul is going to come through and tell you what to do. And that's where the masculine then comes in and becomes the support for the vision of the feminine, following the guidance of the soul. The masculine is really there to support the vision of the feminine. Then you create the structure, you organize your calendar, and you take action so that you can birth the vision that came from the feminine. And then after that, you regenerate and you go back to the feminine again, trusting that everything will unfold, that every challenge is actually an opportunity. And then when you feel aligned, you take action again. So it's a sacred dance, but it begins with that yin energy, with that feminine. And because we live in a world that is so yang, we all need to learn how to reclaim that part of us that has been suppressed and dismissed for so many, many years and centuries. I talk more about that in my book because that really translates about what I call the 3 feminine wounds. And healing these 3 feminine wounds is going to be one of the ways to actually start reclaiming that yin energy, which is really our essence.
Wow. So outside of these 3 feminine wounds, are there other ways to also harness in the yin energy?
There are ways that you can apply right now, which is creating more space in your calendar, doing yin yoga practices that are going to nourish your parasympathetic nervous system and help you regulate. So there are things like body-based practices and feminine embodiment that you can do to help you right now. But these 3 feminine wounds are about reclaiming your feminine energy really at a deeper level, at the level of your identity and at the level of, I know who I am, I know my worth, I know my power, I speak my truth, because they are really encoded in 3 of your chakras. They are imprinted in 3 of your chakras, and they make you fall into people pleasing. They make you fall into soft boundaries. And all of that makes you hustle, makes you not be confident, makes you feel tired, exhausts you, depletes you. So yes, there are actions that you can do right now to start bringing in a greater balance of your feminine, but it's going to require you to actually do deeper work that is more on an identity and spiritual level.
So did I hear you correctly that you were associating the people pleasing with many women, a lot of women, that we tend to be the good girl, that we tend to say, okay, put our head down and follow the rules and obey orders and not speak up for ourselves? Would that be considered also yin? But it's like a negative side to the yin, right?
Yeah, that's the wounded feminine. Because all these words that I gave you before, that's what I call the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, the integrated feminine. But there's also a version of the feminine that's the wounded feminine. Same for the masculine. And so because feminine energy in general, so the slowing down, the being, the receiving has been suppressed, and women in general, of course, have been suppressed as well for the past centuries. We have fallen into people pleasing, into soft boundaries, into saying yes when we mean no. And that's part of the wounded feminine in these 3 feminine wounds. I was a good girl. I was the people pleaser. I said yes when I meant no, because I just wanted to be loved. We also live in a time where these wounds are part of the collective. And so all souls that want to learn how to heal these wounds and really how to transcend it so that they can be more of themselves, more in their power, really alchemize their shadow into light, it's the perfect time to learn all these things. Make sense?
It does. It absolutely does. And outside of harnessing the yin, and stopping to say no and then doing that extra work, because I think what a lot of people potentially don't realize is that there is a lot of work to do when it comes to the masculine and the feminine. There is a lot of work. This is not just superficialness. There's more to it. And even when it comes to hair loss, there's more to it. And it's not just taking a supplement, doing a shampoo or a hair mask. Like there's so much more to it that it actually may even uncover so many things that we had no clue that needed to be uncovered. This is the beauty of doing the work and then finally getting the results, because it's not about if, it's about when you get those results in any realm that you want to do, whether it's in the feminine and masculine, whether it's in the hair growth, or whether it's anything else that you have a goal for, set your mind to. There's going to be work. There's always going to be some sort of challenge, and that's why we're up for it. And so what would you say is the correlation, or what do you instantly think out of instinct is the correlation between the feminine, hair, beauty, and how this resonates maybe with the world, but then also within us? Because as someone who's gone through hair loss, my identity did waver. It was definitely shook and shaken on various levels. And I never thought I'd go bald. I never thought it would be forever. There was some sort of intuition, going back to the feminine, there was always some sort of intuition telling me that I would get my hair back. I just didn't know how. But it did make me feel less than as a female. It did make me feel like something was wrong. And even those stories of what other adults or other people would say in my mind from back when I was a kid or something, they would flash back. And it was like, maybe this is just another sign that I'm less than. Maybe this is another sign that something's wrong with me. You start to doubt yourself. You start to doubt all the things when you're going through a significant illness, disease, diagnosis, or even just simple hair loss, which is not so simple, because if you're listening to me, you've probably been on this for months, years, or decades.
So now that you are on the other side and that you have these beautiful blonde curls, would it be fair to say that it is in those times of doubt, in those times of darkness, that your certainty, your courage, and more of your identity was shaped? Can you say that it's the moment where you doubted the most that you actually found your greatest strength?
Well, the perseverance definitely came through, right? The tenacity, the grit absolutely came through. When I was hearing you speak earlier about the masculine and the feminine, for sure, the intuition was there and the evaluating was there. No receivership just yet, but all the evaluating and just analyzing and sitting back and sitting with myself ever so slightly to be able to stir up a plan. And even when I was at my lowest point multiple times throughout these 4 years of being in the bathroom, crying to myself or hiding from others and hiding my situation and trying to fix my hair ever so slightly so that people wouldn't see or notice. And then, of course, all the symptoms that are going on, I always gave myself that room and space to cry it out, to let go, I guess surrender, maybe even give up technically for the afternoon, give up technically for the day, and gave myself maybe half a day, 24 hours. But the next day, next morning, we're on it. The masculine came out and we were like, okay, let's tackle this. How are we going to tackle this? How are we going to do this differently? What more am I going to do? What more am I going to look out for? What more am I going to metrics, KPIs, like data? Let's go ahead and start measuring these things, because I gave myself that time, but I can't sit here, do nothing for days on end. You give yourself that afternoon, that day, crying, feeling bad for yourself. Okay, next day, vámonos. Let's move. Let's try to be that person that you were before. In my case, very active, very outgoing, and do something different. Do something different, because clearly whatever got you here is not working. And so we need to reframe and re-exchange the habits, the process of being and doing in order to receive.
These moments of pause are necessary to just let you breathe, to just let you accept, and to recharge you so that you can keep going as well. So it's somehow that sacred dance between the masculine and the feminine. I asked you that question because the sages from the past were teachings that it's in the moment of darkness that you actually find your gifts, that you find your perseverance, that you find your wisdom, that you find yourself. When I look back at my life and all the challenges that I have gone through, I can see now in hindsight that there was a blessing in it. there was a teaching in it. I came back on the other side stronger, wiser, more myself, more aligned with who I am, more clear of where I was going, more trusting of myself. And on the spiritual level, darkness is simply part of life. When we look at the seasons, we look at the 4 seasons right now here in the Northern Hemisphere, where in the winter, it's that time of darkness. The nights are longer. We don't have as much light. We don't see clearly as much, but it's necessary for the spring and summer to arrive. We couldn't always be in summer. And so that's something that I always remind myself when I go through challenges. It's like there's a gift in it. It's teaching me something, even if I'm not seeing clearly. When you're in a time of darkness, you can't see your way out. You don't have clarity. Maybe it's also mental, emotional darkness. You feel depressed. You feel burnt out. Spring is always going to come back. But our spiritual seasons, they're not like physical seasons. They can be much longer or much shorter. So that season of winter, of darkness, of not knowing, being in the unknown, just wanting to move forward but not knowing how, it can last longer or shorter. But the more you surrender, the more you accept that this is where you're at, the more you follow your intuition. And for you, it was, I'm just going to keep figuring it out. I'm just going to sharpen my perseverance. I'm just going to keep trusting myself. The faster then the spring will come. This is on a spiritual level why we go through challenges, whether it's alopecia or burnout or illnesses or debt or even in business. It's really to shape us. There's always a gift in it for us. And then also it's interesting, we live in a world that is so focused on beauty. And for us women, so much of our hair is connected to our beauty. So losing your hair is incredibly difficult because it forces you to ask yourself, am I beautiful without my hair? What do I look like? Do I still love myself without my hair? Will people still love me? Will I be okay if they don't? It actually forces you to go more within and fall in love with yourself more. I'm sure that was some of your experience as well.
It's a little bit of a trying situation. Yes, I loved myself, but at the same time, I was also in a new relationship with, at the time, he was someone I was seeing and then became my fiance and then now my husband. But the dating aspect of it was very difficult and challenging as well. The intimacy, and then it's like, how much should I tell him? When we're still new and dating, how much is too much? He's still on a needs to know basis. So you start questioning, right, how open you're going to be. And then when I was diagnosed and I was just dating him, I was really trying to see if I could figure this out real quick in a couple months. That didn't happen. And because we were moving quickly into engagement and this and that, I wanted to be very transparent because I am always transparent and honest. What was really nice is that he had a family member and a relative who also had alopecia. And so he was already familiar with it and had already that compassion, already understood that the hair loss is a thing. But more so from him, I did find more value in me. And then even more so after the fact, because it's not just me with a diagnosis. This is me, watch me. Something's going to happen and something's going to give and I'm going to come out better than before. If anyone knows me, it's really hard to pin me down. It's really hard to, just break me in many ways because of that sheer grit that I've always had. But then this challenged me. This was like that bigger challenge. It was that Mount Everest that I like to say. It was a bigger mountain, an unknown mountain with no roadmap. And I was just like, okay, I'm in this. And I don't even think I realized it. I thought this was going to be a quick little bunny slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just got to go faster. Just got to do this. Just got to do that. And all of a sudden I was just like, I'm not prepared and I'm trekking and I have no Sherpa.
And no map and no flashlights.
Nothing, no compass. And so you find yourself just one step at a time.
Yeah.
And I think that was the most humbling experience ever, is to have this one step at a time perspective. And it's also allowed me to recalibrate in other areas of my life where it's just one step at a time. I don't have to have everything figured out. I think for young women, maybe this resonates, maybe it doesn't, kind of sense that it might, where by the age of 30, we put limits as women. We put limits on ourselves. By the age of 30, we want to be married with 2.2 kids and have the degree and have this and the career and the that. And I'm exhausted talking about it. We put this pressure on ourselves to succeed and move and go. And I think a lot of times that can be cultural, that can come from having immigrant parents that can come from just wanting to be your best, maybe self-perpetuated, but it could also come from your parents. It could also be from the world around us, where that pressure to excel, and be number one in everything. When in hindsight, that basketball game in high school doesn't mean anything. Whether or not you won the tournament or you're out for the season, so what? Like, it's not going to make or break the rest of your life.
Maybe not on paper, but it might give you the confidence or a first experience of when I'm really committed to something, I succeed.
When I think about teams, I think about like, you can only do so much. You're also depending on 4 other people to make the basket to win the tournament. It's not just my vibe and like my preparation, it's also theirs.
Interesting.
And maybe this is my single child upbringing, where if I was going to play any sport, it'd be tennis, because it would just be me against me and against the opponent. But in a team environment, you're so dependent, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's you, I know me, I can overcome anything, just like I did with the alopecia.
Yeah. I totally understand where that's coming from. And at the same time, that shows a little bit of a receiving wound, because then it prevents you from receiving support. And it's the fear that if you rely on other people, if you are supported by other people, but they don't show up the way that you want, then you'll collapse or things won't go the way that you want. So then it's putting all the responsibilities on your shoulders as well, which for now might be working. But in the future, if you want to grow yourself or grow your business or have a life that has a bigger impact, you might want to have a look at that.
No, I see that. And I see where it comes from.
That's the journey of life.
Yeah, it is the journey of life. I've just continued to uncover.
Look how far it got you. You've achieved more than, some people would dream of. And if you want to go further, what got you here won't get you there. And the furthest you want to go, you're going to need that sacred union of the feminine and the masculine. This is actually very ancient wisdom. The ancients were teaching that in ancient Egypt, in Greece. It's very ancient wisdom that is now coming back and being translated in a more modern world. But it's actually really part of the path of awakening and enlightenment.
So how do you go about working with people in order for them to clear up and doing this work that you mentioned earlier, the deeper work? How do we go about digging deeper to uncover what exactly it is that we need to do, and so that we can be whole?
In my book, The Path of Femininity, I take you on that journey. And in my courses as well, it really begins with first healing the wounded feminine. So having a look at, do I have this fear of being seen, fear of being myself, and fear of being rejected or outcasted if I'm fully myself, which I call the witch wound, because it's very much connected to the witch hunts and the witch trial that happened a few centuries ago. And then it's this witch wound, which is the people pleasing, the saying yes when you mean no, the soft boundaries, because you want to be loved and because you care and you want to help people. You leak a lot of energy and power when you do that. And then the third is what I call the whore wound. That is actually the shame and the disconnection that you can feel around your body, around your beauty, around your sensuality, your sexuality as well. If you dance in a way that is too feminine, we have all experienced that as women. And it's incredibly sad, because our womb, our body is the seat of our power. Our womb literally are portals to bring souls and ideas and projects through. The first step on this journey of fully reclaiming your sacred feminine, it's about healing these 3 wounds. Because as you heal these 3 wounds, what you do is that you unlock what I call the gift of authenticity, which is the first gift of the feminine. It's being fully, wildly, unapologetically yourself, and knowing to your core that nothing about you is too much and everything about you is there for a reason. So that's the first step, and it's already pretty profound work. And then as you move through that and you are more and more authentic, you become more and more magnetic. So there you go, you activate what I call the second gift of the feminine, which is your gift of magnetism. Because if you think about magnets, they attract, but they also repel, because you're not meant to attract everybody. The more you can be yourself, the more you can speak your way, dress your way, just sing your song, make your own unique tone, the more the people that are meant to be in your world, whether it's your personal life or your professional life, they will see and recognize you. They will fall in love with you. And those who are never meant to be in your world, they won't resonate with you anymore. because it's just a different frequency. It's like when you're playing the music, I don't know if you're a musician but if you play a song that it's like in C major, it's not really going to fit with a Mi minor. It's another frequency. That's what music teaches us. And the geometry of sound is also present within us. Like we are resonant being. We are frequency. We are sound that is just denser and that we cannot hear. Sound is just frequency that we can hear, and we are that frequency too. And so the more you can be in your own unique frequency, the more you'll attract the people that resonate with it. And then the journey goes on, and you have 4 other gifts that you activate to fully reclaim your feminine, which are the gifts of intuition, surrendering, receiving, and the final one is the gift of grounding. And so grounding in the context of my book, it doesn't just mean being grounded and connected to the earth. That's part of it. But it's really more about having all of your soul fully into your body and express your soul, your essence, your purpose into the world.
Fantastic. So what are some tips for people going through hair loss that you would help them support themselves during this stressful, anxious-ridden time? What would you recommend or say to someone who might be going through this in order to encourage them that this isn't forever, that this is just part of life's journey, but then they can always get over it? Because I can tell them, but then maybe your words would hit different.
So I would say 2 things. The first one, just like you said, it is a very stressful time. And if you can simply acknowledge that for yourself, that's already huge. Just recognizing that you are going through something hard and just validating that. It is hard. And it's okay to have days where you're just not feeling like fighting again. But then you'll start again tomorrow. You can give yourself that break. Just for today, I'm not fighting. I'm just recognizing and validating what I'm feeling. What that's going to do is that it's going to create a softness within your body. It's going to help you move into more of that parasympathetic response, because the fighter in you, it's still a stress response. It's still a sympathetic response. In order to heal, we need to be more in a parasympathetic response. That's the part of the nervous system that heals and regenerates. So if you want to help your body heal, be as much as possible in your parasympathetic response by creating softness within your inner world, by acknowledging who you are. Also, sleeping more, by doing more yin yoga, by going for a walk, but a walk that is soft and gentle, not like a power walk where you're almost running. Like, how can you create more spaces in your calendar, in your week, that nourish your parasympathetic nervous system and that can help you be in this healing response? That's the first thing that I would say. The second thing is you are in a season of winter. That's the soul season that you're in with this challenge. And without diving more into really the mythology and the spiritual teachings that are connected to that, it's a season to really help you connect with who you really are. It's a season to help you connect with your soul. It's a season for you to learn to trust your intuition. And the more you can trust yourself, the more you can trust your intuition, the more you can trust the process. And remember that spring will always come back. The sun will shine tomorrow. That's a truth that you know. The same way that the sun will rise tomorrow, spring will come back in your life. The light will come back in your life. The clarity will come back in your life. Just surrender to this period of darkness and trust your intuition. Trust that there's a gift in it. At some point, you will see it. You're probably not going to see it right now. Don't even try, but just trust the process that's unfolding, because there's something in it for you. And like the sages of the past were teaching, it's in this moment that you can strengthen the muscle of certainty. I know this is happening for me. I know there's something good in it for me. I will connect more deeply with myself. I will find wisdom in it. The more you can move with that certainty, the more you're also going to elevate your level of consciousness and hear your intuition more, receive the guidance more, and find people like you, Joanna, that can help you go to the other side.
I totally resonate with that, because as you said, the winter and the spring, it was a dark time. It was very dark and very long, mind you. The spring did come, the hair growth came, and the hair has stayed since. And in many ways, that winter tore me down to my nakedness, to the rawness, to the vulnerability, to all of it, shaking the identity in order to build back up. It really did. Yeah. Having to go through alopecia, having to do this on my own, mind you, not with a guide, not with a coach, not with a program, forced me to have to move through the mud that I didn't want to like touch, see, or even go through, but I did. And in order to do that, it's like you come out of it so much better, so much better. I'm so grateful for the journey. I always say that. So grateful for this journey, for the disease, for the diagnosis, for the alopecia, because it really gave me so much and it allowed me to blossom to who I truly am without remorse or apology or anything, just completely non-apologetic today.
And that's exactly what this journey is designed for. Like you said it beautifully. I was naked, and you have to face yourself in that nakedness and look at all the things. But it shapes you into the best version of you. That's the rebirth journey. That's exactly what I speak about in my next book.
That's exciting. So when is your next book coming out?
We're working on it, and I'm really hoping to finish it before the end of the year so that it can come out in 2027.
That's beautiful. I love that. Congratulations. It's really exciting. Really exciting. Any parting thoughts? Last words of wisdom that you'd love to share with our audience?
The final thing I want to say, it's just repeating what I said before. Just surrender to this process and trust that it's happening for you. And the more you can look at it with this higher consciousness, it's not always easy. There's moments where you just want to hit the pillows and say, this is so hard. And yes, it is. Like, we're not diminishing that. And at the same time, can you tell yourself, this is happening for me? I will find my way out of it. Because the more you can elevate your consciousness to that level, the more you will find the clarity, the answers, the intuition, and you'll move through it faster. So I guess it really begins with acceptance, right? Acceptance so that you can move through it with more ease.
Beautifully said. Acceptance that this is not where you're supposed to stay for the rest of your life. This is just part of the obstacle. And there's something on the other side of this. It is a life lesson. And there's so many life lessons in this, in everything, in any disease, in any diagnosis, and any challenge of life. There's always a life lesson to be had, if not many. Where can we find you?
The easiest place to find me is on Instagram at Posson. I also have a YouTube channel. Right now I'm doing 2 videos a week. So there's a lot of content there as well. I also have a free training online, which is a 60-minute training to help you move away from the hustle to the ease, from the ego to the soul, from the wounded masculine to really that divine feminine.
That's beautiful. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your light, your wisdom, and your beautiful diagnosis of masculine and feminine. I know this is very helpful. There's just so much more that we can be doing to allow things to happen instead of push, because you're right. Burnout isn't fun. And it does happen. It happens more often than not. Thank you, because this is a much needed lesson to be heard and even a topic to dive deeper on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Joanna, for having me. It was such a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Alopecia Angel podcast, a positive light in healing alopecia. You can do this and we can help. Spread the word that reversing alopecia is possible by telling your friends and family.